Hi, this is Carmel. I'm the Crazy Cricut Lady, and in this lesson we're going to cover a lot of stuff. We're going to cover lining, we're going to cover sizing, we're going to cover grouping, and we're going to cover saving. First we're going to do a lining. And I've separated all the little parts out here so that I can show you how to do this. These are the score lines that we made first. Now we're going to group those together first. So we select all of them, and when you select things in Inkscape, you have to select all of them. In Design Space, you can do it this way. And it would select all three lines because you touched all three lines. You can't do that in Inkscape. In Inkscape, you have to draw a box around every piece of those. And then it selects all three of them. In a way, though, this is nice, because if I wanted to draw the box like this, it only selects what I had completely inside the box. I touched on these things, but since I didn't have all of them in there, it didn't select them. Back to these score lines. We want to group these together. There are two little buttons up here that are group and ungroup. First one is group, and it has everything grouped there, and then there's ungroup. This has the pieces divided. So we're going to group these score lines together so that they move as a unit. We're going to put them on the base card where they go, and then we want it centered on the base card, so we're going to highlight everything all the way around. Centering in Inkscape is a two-step process. You have to center horizontally and then center vertically. It's just one more step than Design Space is. Now that we've got all of these selected, we want this to stay like this, so we group it. Now let's keep putting the base card together. This goes on the top, and we can't center this both ways. We just want to center this. Hit Shift key, hold this. We're going to center it horizontal. So you hit this button here, and I had eyeballed it pretty good so it looks right. Now you can't center it this way because, and I'll show you why. We'll select everything. If I had hit this part, it would have moved it down to the center, and we don't want that. So Control Z, go back to where it was. And we want this goes here, and we want it centered this way too. And we want these here. And that's the base card essentially. We're going to select it all. So we had the box all the way around everything, and we want that to stay together and move around as one, so we grouped it, and there we go. The next thing we're going to put together is this, and this is centered. So drag it to where you want it approximately, select everything involved, and then hit both buttons because we want it exactly centered. And there we go. Now we're going to group them. And that piece is grouped. Now the unicorn we want centered this way, but it has to be able to tuck in, so we want it fairly close to the top. And select everything, and then we want it centered this way. I haven't figured out yet what it centers to what. I think it's the first thing you select is the base, and then it moves everything else to be centered around that, but I'm not sure, and it usually doesn't matter. We'll group that. Now we have everything grouped the way we want it. We can move the individual pieces around. Now to size it, I showed you in, I believe it was lesson 2, where when we transferred the four-leaf clover over how to size individual pieces. But now I'm going to show you how to size the final product. We're going to select everything by drawing a box around it all. And this base card is the tallest piece. So we'll go back to Design Space real quick and see how big that piece is. And that piece is 10.214 high. So go back to Inkscape and we want to make 10.214. So first we hit the little lock key so that it is all resized in proportion. And we're going to make all of it 10.214. And it didn't change that much. So, but we'll make this smaller like this. So we want it to be 10.214. As you can see, it grew all of it bigger. And it's still all joined together, although they're separate pieces. What we want now is to save it. Now, to save it in Inkscape, to be able to transfer it to Design Space. Design Space requires that it be all together, but ungrouped to individual pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to ungroup it as far as we can go. And I usually hit this 4 or 5 times. Ungroup. So everything is down to its base parts. You see all 3 lines are there for the score lines. All the pieces are apart. It has each 4-leaf clover there. And now we're going to group it all together. And this is what Design Space requires for you to be able to transfer it into Design Space for it to work. Once you have it there, we're going to save it now. And save is under File, Save As. And I already have a name in here for St. Patrick's Day acetate card. But we can make it anything. We can make A, B, C, D. But then you won't know what it is. So Saint, S-A-I, sorry, S-T-B-A-T-R-I-C-K Day. Okay. Now, every tutorial that I've seen on how you have to do this claims you have to now take it to a plain SVG. I haven't noticed any difference. I've done it both ways. Doesn't matter. So I just leave mine as the Inkscape SVG because that's the default. Click Save. And your project is saved. In the next step, we're going to check it for a couple of things to make sure it's right. I always do this step so that I don't end up having something I forgot to change the color on, or something I was supposed to do and it didn't, like change the text to a path. I occasionally forget that step. So that's why we check it. This has been Carmel, the Crazy Cricut Lady, and that is how you align, size, at least the final product size, group, and save the project. In the next project, we will be checking and explaining to other people what they have to do once they load it up. This has been Carmel, the Crazy Cricut Lady. Nice to have you here with us learning how to make an SVG out of a Design Space project. We'll see you in the next lesson.